If you're nostalgic and old enough, well then the Volkswagen Transporter is much more than a van. 50 years ago, it was well on the way to becoming an icon of the hippie generation as the Volkswagen pop-top camper van. Most people, though, just called it the bus. This one is, of course, Kildare TV's crew wagon, and they call it other things than the bus, but we won't go into that. 60 years on from the time it was first rolled out, the Transporter is now in its 5th generation. Primarily, it has been a very successful panel van, but it's also available in a lot of other variants as well, including the crew bus like I'm in here, also as a pickup, and of course there are many conversions as motorhomes that hark back to the original pop-top. From a style viewpoint, the Transporter designers never tried to make it sexy. It's a long box, angular and practical. That makes it very space efficient for whichever format you want. It comes in short and long wheelbase versions. It has a standard, medium and high roof option. In people carrying versions, it can transport 6 or 9 passengers. In all, if you work through the variants, there are up to 100 different versions. This is the crew bus version of the Transporter. So in addition to having 2 rows of seats up front, you've got a big area in the back that can be used for storage, for carrying, for doing lots of things. In fact, this is going to be used for the equipment for the mobile studio that Kildare TV is at the moment commissioning. Late last year, in a midlife upgrade to the T5 version, there were some minor changes just to freshen up the car. They included the lights, which are bigger. They included a deeper and more slats on the grille, and they included a brand new Volkswagen badge. Now, you mightn't think there's much different, but in fact, it's brand new, it's brighter, and it's bigger. This is Kildare TV's official production vehicle. It's needed to do heavy-duty work in carrying all the equipment and getting to the locations where the company needs to film. But it's also advertising the company itself. And the livery, I think, is very interesting. It's not brash, it's not in your face, it's discreet. I really like the idea of the matte black finish, which looks very elegant in its own way and really sets off the Kildare TV logo, the fact it's the outside broadcast unit. And this was done by Alan Bannon of Tokers in Naas. When you think about it, the front end of a van is somebody's place of work, and it's their place of work all day. So they really need to be comfortable if they're going to get the most productivity out of their day. That's particularly so if their workplace is a van on the road and they're driving. They also need to be driving safely, comfortably and not get tired. In the recent refresh, Volkswagen took the opportunity to make the cabin of the T5 that little bit more comfortable and therefore that little bit more safe. They put in new seats, and the seats indeed are much more comfortable than what went before. There are 3 seats up front. It's a double seat for the 2 passengers and a single seat for the driver. They also improved the instrumentation. It's now very clear white figures on black, and they're nice big analog dials. They took the opportunity to fix the radio and put in a better radio than before. It's pretty good, even though the sound that you'll get in the van is never very good at the best of times. Air conditioning is also standard. I'm old enough to remember driving that old Volkswagen pop-top that I talked about at the beginning of this piece. And it was a very unusual driving position, certainly by today's standards. It had a steering wheel that was flat, and you had to lean over it just like a very old bus steering wheel. And there was a long spindly gear shift coming out of the floor that waggled all over the place. And the pedals, they used to go down into the floor, practically flat on the floor, rather than hang from the bulkhead as they do now. So the driving position then was very strange indeed, and you would nearly get a hunch on your back at the end of a day from driving in that stooped over position. Now we have a driving position where the steering wheel is just like a car. It's at the same angle, it's the same kind of comfortable steering wheel, and we have a gear shift that is direct, precise, and comes out nicely with a short throw out of the center stack. When Volkswagen did their recent refresh, they did more than just the cosmetic details on the front end and in the driver's area. They actually changed the engines. And that was a good move because the old engine was a 2.5 litre diesel that was tough and reliable and a good puller, but it was noisy, and on a long run it would be very tiring for the operator. So now they have a whole range of new 2-litre engines, all diesels, and the power outputs available are from 84 horsepower to 180 horsepower. And it's a much smoother engine, it's a much nicer unit altogether, and certainly on a long run you won't feel as tired as you used to.